Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. It's Sunday, the 23rd of Feb here in Delaware. Happy Sunday, guys. Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining the live Lucy Mwangi USA. I hope mko sawa. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to see if people want to jump on the live. But today's topic is the real struggles of single moms in America: challenges, survival, and success stories. That's what we're going to talk about in the live. We're live on TikTok as well. Hi, TikTok. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining my live yesterday. Thank you for the input, the participation, and all of that. I appreciate that. Thank you for the engagement. I appreciate that. So today we are talking about the real struggles of single moms in America: challenges, survival, and success stories. Not just single moms, single parents, I should say, single parents. So if you're just joining in the live, happy Sunday. I hope you had a good day. If you're in Kenya, you're winding down your day. If you're in other parts of the world, how you doing? I hope you had a good day. If you are in the US, it's right in the middle of the day. The sun is out here in Delaware, so make sure you come out and get some sun. TikTok, hi guys, thank you for joining the live. We just started. So from what I learned yesterday, I'm still trying to get my game on straight on this TikTok. From what I learned yesterday, we're supposed to be tapping on the screen so the live doesn't get dropped. So make sure you do that as you join so that we can participate in this conversation. So happy Sunday, guys. The real struggles of single moms in America. So it's story time today, actually. Hakuna ati anything of seriousness we are talking today. It's not serious matters. It's just conversations about life in America as a single parent. When I first came to the US, I was single by choice. Single in that I didn't have a husband back home. I just came to the US on my own. I met my husband here, and for the longest time that I have lived in the US, I was married. I was married for 14 years, I think, give or take 14 years. So I didn't really experience that thing of being a single parent or a single income household until a few years later when my husband died. So there's several reasons why people obviously end up being single. Some of the reasons are by choice. You just don't want to get married. Others is maybe you had a one night stand mahali and accidents happen. Now you had a child and you decided to keep the child, right? And sometimes you don't even know who the father of the child is, but unakufa tu nayo, you're like, okay, I'm going to keep the child. Other reasons could be because you separated from your husband or your wife, and you decided to, either because of the court system or however you guys decided, you are the one now staying with the child. You have custody of the child. The other thing could be you either separated for a temporarily you've separated, and now you have the responsibility of raising the kid by yourself. It could be your partner died and now you're a widow and you're left with the children or with the child. So there's many ways that people end up being single. So single, it could be by choice or by fate or by, just life happens. It's a very difficult situation to be in. And I'm sure it's not just specific to the US. It's also worldwide. I feel like the world is not the same as it used to be as far as raising children. Remember how back in the day, you used to, for those of us who grew up in the village, the child used to be for the whole community. It wasn't that, oh, this is Lucy's child, so nobody else is responsible. The child used to belong to the whole society, the whole village. So it's not the same here. Here, munakufa na mtu wako. If you're married, it's you and your partner. You are lucky if you have any outside support. You are lucky if you have any outside support. So the support that you would end up getting is daycare. So you gotta send your kid to daycare, or you have a live-in nanny, which can be really expensive. And because most people don't like people living in their space, it's better for you to take the child to a nanny or to a daycare center. That is very, very expensive. And so you have to be financially capable of being able to support the kid. Either if you're going to be a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, how are you going to support yourself as far as finances? Because this child needs clothing, they need shelter, they, the basic needs. They need to go to school and all of that. So you can't really be a stay-at-home mom. The way the systems are set up, it's very difficult. CRT, you're just going to step away. It's not like home where we had more support. We had a farm. You can just step outside, go grow your own fruits and vegetables, and life is a little bit easier. Here, when you're single, it's very difficult to raise children. And I wanted you guys to participate in the conversation and give us your comments, give us your experiences. If you're a single parent, or if at any one point were you a single parent, and how was that for you? On TikTok, thank you for joining the live. Make sure you like the live so that it doesn't get dropped. We're talking about the real struggles of single moms in America. Single parents, I should say, I should change that title to single parents in America: challenges, survival, and success stories. So I have a question already. So this is an open conversation. It's an open live for questions and for stories and for experiences. James Maura, my question, hakuna watu wa kuwaoa in America? Wako. It's not like there's nobody to marry people. Si ati hakuna watu wa kutuoa. It's just that the way America is set up, there are so many reasons why people either decide to be single by design, wanna decide to, I don't want to get married, or because of the other reasons that I stated earlier, reasons that can make you end up being single. It's not because you chose to be single. But let's say, for example, you divorced, or you separated, or you are widowed, your husband or your wife died. So you have to go back into the dating scene. And it's not the best scene, especially in America. Dating is not the best. It's not the most productive or the most positive thing. I think it's just my experience. If there's anybody else who has a different experience as far as dating, you can come up and tell us. But the challenges become now, everybody who is here, from my experience, is either they already have their own families or they have children, and then now you have to figure out how you guys are going to work it out. And if you are on an advanced age, if you are older, so you're now finding that the people that are available and single are young, so it doesn't make sense at that point, because then they want to start their life. They want to get a younger lady, a younger girl to marry so that they can start their life. So some people just decide, okay, now I have my life. I don't have my husband anymore. I don't want to date anymore. I don't want to get married anymore. I just want to raise the kid by myself. Either that, or it's because they've already tried the dating and it didn't work, and they're like, forget it. Let me focus on my life and my child's life, and life moves on. So we are talking about the struggles, the challenges that we face as far as being single parents. That's the topic of conversation. Jean anasema being a single parent is a huge responsibility, and I'd like to appreciate every effort you guys make. It is. It's a huge responsibility because you have to be both parents for the child. So you're the mom, you're the dad for this kid, unless later on down the line you find somebody and you either get married or decide to do a life together. So I'm on YouTube and I'm also on TikTok, you guys. So continue putting in your comments. This is an interactive live. It's not just me talking. This is an interactive live. If you have an experience, if you have questions related to life in America as a single parent or any other stories about life in America, you can put them in the chat or on TikTok. I'll read your comments once you start putting the comments in. I'll read your comments. Thank you for the live yesterday. Like I said earlier, I am still new to TikTok Live. I'm trying to practice. You know how they say practice makes perfect. If you want to perfect yourself in something, you have to keep doing it. You can't just say, oh, I'll learn doing TikTok by just watching. You have to participate. So TikTok guys, thank you for joining the live. So, challenges of being a single mom in America or a single parent, the high cost of living. We're talking about housing, childcare, healthcare, education. All these expenses, they make it difficult for single parents to make ends meet. Here in America, by the way, the system is you need two incomes to sustain yourself properly. Either you have multiple streams of income or you have somebody else helping you as far as the finances. So if you're just by yourself, you're really squeezed as far as that. And then a lot of people are proud. You have this pride. You don't want to ask for government assistance because there is like a stigma attached to that. At you're getting financial help from the government. That means you're poor. So that's the stigma. That's not what it means, but that's the stigma that is attached to that. But you find a lot of single parents going to seek assistance, either from you get medical care for your children and for yourself, depending on how much your income is. So it goes by state. Depending on which state you're in, you qualify for CHIP. It's like our Medicaid. It's the health care for yourself and for your children. You can also qualify for like subsidized housing and things like those. So you find that a lot of single parents tend to reach out and ask for assistance, especially if you have more than one or two children. That becomes really expensive. So limited income, many single mothers, they work low wage or multiple jobs to provide for their families. And the downside of that is that you find yourself being away from your children because you're out there hustling. You're just trying your best to make ends meet so that you can support your children. So I feel like during that time when you're really out there busting your behind, trying to get money to support yourself and your family, the children are missing out on you being there for them. So that's the downside. So that's one of the challenges. That's another challenge. That's another struggle. And then lack of savings with little disposable income, because you don't have a lot of income. Saving for emergencies or future expenses is challenging because when are you going to save? When are you going to save if you can't even afford day-to-day living? Because from the hierarchy of needs pyramid, you're supposed to get these the things that you need fundamentally to survive. You do those first, and then as you go on, you start now saving for other things for the future. But if you're a single parent and you don't have like sufficient income, when are you going to save? And that's when there's an emergency, you're stuck because you're like, okay, now I have to go in debt I have to borrow money because I don't have the money to support myself or my children in case of an emergency. So that's another challenge. We talked about childcare issues. My friend, childcare is so expensive in the US. If there was a business that if I had thought about it before, if there was a business that I would do, it would be setting up a childcare facility. Oh my God. Childcare is so expensive. And the way we pay for childcare here, we pay it weekly. So every week you're paying. Every week you're paying for childcare services. So the smaller the children, the younger the children, the more money you pay. So if it's an infant, if it's a less than 1 year olds, very, very expensive, in the hundreds of dollars per week. You're paying that. So depending, regardless of whether it's a private nanny that you have or you're taking them to like a private daycare or and they are private daycares, they are private. So it's whatever they decide to charge you. It's whatever they decide to charge you as a facility, as a daycare center. So if you can't afford that, then you stay home. You stay home with your kid and you raise your kid and you get assistance from the government. That's what a lot of people end up doing, not by choice, but because when you're trying to weigh the options, you're like, what do I do? And I still have to raise my kid. So, and then the daycares, by the way, I heard that they are not just readily available. You have to book. You have to book in advance. Some of them are out like booked 1 year. So it's like as soon as you find out you're pregnant, you start booking for daycare because they're not readily available. And that's why sometimes as Africans, people from Africa, we ask people to come here and help us with that, especially if your parent or somebody in your family has a green card, because in that case, they are allowed to work. They're allowed to work. Even when they're coming to visit, you can just leave them with the kid for a little bit. It's a struggle. That's one of the things that I saw was very, very different between the US and Kenya when I came here, is that community-based raising of children is not the same. It's not the same here. Because most of the time, even you don't even know your next door neighbor. And I'm sure you guys have heard most people talking about this, the isolation and the lack of community. So you have to make an effort to go out and build your own community, or just it doesn't come naturally like in Kenya. Like you can be walking around and you see people and everybody's greeting everybody when you're passing. Kwanza huku especially in the winter, you don't see anybody. You don't see people outside unless they have pets and they're walking around, they're walking their dogs. That's when you see people outside, or when it snows and they're shoveling their driveways and stuff. You've seen some videos of myself and my daughter out shoveling the snow. If they're not out there doing stuff like that, you don't see people. The people are not out there. So the social interaction becomes a challenge. Social interaction becomes a challenge. So it's not like you can say, "Oh, I'm just my neighbor's kids, and my kids can be left with my neighbor." No, there's nothing like that. Hakuna cha neighbors taking care of your kids. It's you and your daycare and whatever family that you're able to bring. So the other thing is work-life balance. The jobs here are so demanding. I think they are designed that way, just to keep you tied up working. It's not like in Kenya, most jobs, you go 9 to 5. By 5, 6, 7 o'clock, everybody is back home together. Uku, because of shift work, and I don't know why jobs are designed that way, but here most of the time we have the 9 to 5s, and then you have the shifts. So you find yourself working or on shift work. So depending on which shift you're working, You could either be overnight, and if you choose to work overnight and you're a single parent, who's taking care of your kid? And even if, let's say, for example, let me speak for healthcare because I work in healthcare. So let's say, for example, you need more money, Cindy, because you're single. You need more money because you have expenses and you're the only one with the income. So you say, okay, I'm going to do night shift because night shift has the most money. By the way, night shift here has the most money because you're sacrificing time with your family and you're sacrificing your sleep. So you end up getting paid more money if you work night shift. So let's say you go that route. You say, okay, I'm going to work night shift so that I can get this extra income. Who's watching your kid? So even if you say, okay, I'm going to work night shift, who's going to watch your kids? So you end up doing in healthcare day shift, which is like 7 to 3, or you're working out during the day. So in the morning you take your child to daycare. Most of them open by 6:30, so that by 7 you are at work and you can start your job. Then at 3, most of the people get off at 3:30. You get off. So you will see, if you work in the healthcare circles, you'll see people rushing out of there so quickly because they want to go and pick up their kids from either the bus stop or from school. Because if you are late to go and pick up the kids, there's a fine for that. I think after 15 minutes, you're late, there's a charge for that. And it increases with either every hour or every 15 minutes. And the way the US is, the school cannot leave your child or outside unattended. So they have to do what is called, quote unquote, handover. They have to make sure either the child has gotten on the bus, and so it's your responsibility as a parent to pick the child up from the bus stop. It is not the responsibility of the bus driver to wait or to babysit your kid until you get there. There's a time that the bus gets to that location. You, as a parent, you're supposed to be there. So at work, you'll see people rushing. I'm like, I'm going to pick up my child. The bus driver is waiting, or I'm going to pick up my child from daycare. I have to hurry up because if I don't get there, I'm going to be charged and fined. And already daycare is so expensive. So it's such a hassle. So the comparison, if you're married or if you have somebody, is people work different shifts. So let's say you're working in the morning and the other person is working at night, so that there's always somebody either at home with the child or able to drop the child off either to school or to daycare. So there's that help. You have that help of somebody else helping you with the picking up and dropping off of the child. Then caregiver burnout, because you're the only one. All the issues are coming to you. So at some point you are on overload. You're on overload. It's so much to deal with as one single parent. You're dealing with your work. You're dealing with your own life. You're dealing with your own. Let's say maybe you're new here, so you're dealing with adaptation. You're trying to adapt to the systems and the cultures of the place. You're dealing with school and whatever issues your child is going through at school. You're dealing with your own issues. If you have any other issues that are going on, you still have family at home. We all know that we are responsible for a lot of family back home by choice or by assignment. So there's that. So you find that there's this overload. You're tired. It's called like caregiver burnout, because you're the sole caregiver for that child. And then lack of flexibility. You find that many employers, they don't offer flexible work schedules. They don't offer a flexible work schedule. It's whatever you have as a company, that's what you're going to do. So there are no like special times or special shifts for single parents. No, you have to fit yourself in there. So you have to do whatever you can to fit yourself within that company shifts, whatever they have. So you find that if you're a single parent and you go to your boss, you're like, you know what, I don't have any help at home. So is it okay if I come in at 8 or at 9 after I drop off my child to daycare or to school? And is it okay if I leave a little bit early? Most places do not want that. Granted, there are some places that will be okay with that, and they will have it on the schedule as this person is okay to come in later or is okay to leave early. But a lot of places do not want that. They want you to be on time. They want you to follow the schedule. So even when you want to attend school events or you have to deal with emergencies, it's not like you can just call your partner and say, you know what, you go take care of this one, because maybe you're either closer to the school or you are. Because let me tell you something, if the kids have like a fever or they're vomiting or they have some injuries that they're bleeding, they will call you. They will call you as a parent, and regardless of where you are required to go pick up your kid from school. So if you're the only one, you have to stop what you're doing and leave and go pick up the kid from school. And I'm sure it's the same also in Kenya. But the difference is here, so now there's that loss of income for that day, and so you have to go pick up the kid, figure out what to do with the kid. If it's you have the kid has to be hospitalized, then now you're dealing with that, in addition to having already financial restraints because already you're struggling. So like I said, any source of emergency, any emergency that happens when you're single is more pronounced. It appears to be bigger when you're single than if you have a partner. So lack of support, especially like emotional health and mental wellness. Let's talk about that. Stress and anxiety, managing your finances. You're trying to manage your finances, you're trying to work, you're trying to parent alone. It can be overwhelming, and there's no outlet most of the time for this. And then there's no time that you'll take a break from being a parent. We know that. And some people will say, if you already knew that, then why are you complaining about it? It's something that you signed up for, right? We are not complaining. We're just putting together our thoughts about the challenges of being a single parent, especially here in the US. It's not it's not a complaint. It's an observation. An observation. And like I said, this is a conversation, and you can put your comments here on TikTok. You can put your comments on YouTube as well. So let me read some of your comments. Thank you guys for being here today, this afternoon. James Maora, thank you for being here. Thomas, how are you? Happy New Year. Happy Sunday, Lucy Mwangi. Thomas listening from Kigali. Thank you for listening from Kigali, Thomas. I appreciate you being a top fan. Thank you so much. Hadubini TV, hello Lucy, ndio join. Karibu sana from Nakuru. Hi guys from Nakuru, how are you doing? How was your Sunday? Thank you so much guys for joining on TikTok. Bobby, Blessed. Watu wa TikTok nawaona sana, I see you. Nebi, I see you. Thank you for joining guys on TikTok. Thank you for being here. Queen Eli, thank you for joining. Triza Wanjiro, thank you for joining. Dan, Betty Hodge, Awis, Bleep, Bleep Bloop, Gigi, James Mwangi, Chelito, nawaona, Lux, and Veritas. Aura, thank you guys. Purity K, VG, Wanjiro, nawaona sana. Patricia. If you have any question, comments about life in America, feel free to post your comments on here, post your questions, and we'll talk about that. On TikTok, please like the live so that you guys don't get dropped. So as you continue putting in your question, it doesn't have to be about single parenthood. It can be anything about life in the US. You can put your comment down there and we'll talk about it. Lack of support in that section of emotional and health struggles. Lack of support. So, without a partner, there are fewer emotional support systems. So, when you get home, you want somebody to to talk about the day. How was the day? How can we navigate this parenting? Somebody to help you navigate life. So you don't have that, so you end up being so overwhelmed because, like I said, you don't have that support. Mom guilt. There's actually something called mom guilt. I don't know if there's a dad guilt. Many single moms, we feel like we're guilty about not spending enough time with their kids due to work commitments. So, you know how you're like, I should be home, but I can't be home because I need to be at work. So you're split between doing the right thing and doing the thing that is needed. And therefore you find that, okay, every day you're questioning your role as a mom. You're like, am I doing the right thing by my child? But then the way the systems are designed is like, what else can I do? And so a lot of people, they work from home nowadays with the digital era. In the digital era, a lot of people are finding things to do at home so that they are not away from their kids all the time. Social stigma and judgment, they're stereotyped. The societies, they often unfairly label mothers, single moms or single dads as irresponsible or struggling. And without even knowing, how did that person end up being single? Just because they see that, oh, that person is raising a child by themselves, automatically they've decided that that person, is irresponsible, and that's why they ended up being single. So vitu kama hizo, society, people judging you, dating challenges. When it comes to dating as a single parent, it can be very difficult to find partners who are understanding of their responsibilities. So trying to find a single person, first of all, let me talk about this. If you already like have a grown child, for example, if you have a grown kid that is over 18 and in your head you have decided that you don't want any more kids, right? And then you find somebody who you click and you want to start something with that person, but then the person wants kids because maybe they don't have any kids of their own, and so you have to end that relationship because of that mere fact, because that is a deal breaker, because you don't want to engage somebody who wants children knowing very well that you don't want any more children. You get what I mean? It wouldn't be fair to that person. So no matter how much you liked the person, or no matter how much you felt like maybe this thing can go somewhere, it will not go anywhere because you'll be feeling guilty because this person wants children and you don't. And if you don't have children with the person, then they're like, okay, they'll go out there and find somebody else who will give them children. So if you already know that, I think these are conversations also that we need to have when we're dating, as far as, okay, how many children do you want? What are your deal breakers before we move on too deeply into the relationship? So those are some of the challenges of dating when you're a single parent and you're trying to date, is something else. And then the other thing is, okay, so what if the other person has children? So they have children. So talk about, how many children do you have? I have maybe 2 children. Where are the baby mamas? Where are the baby mamas? How many baby mamas do you have? Because I don't want drama. And some of these dramas, Zico too, drama Zico. It's hard to go down in life without drama. But let me be prepared if there's going to be drama. Margaret Nganga, it shall be well. My baby girl, yeah, she's old enough. She's old enough. She'll be 21 soon. She will be 21 soon. So Margaret Nganga, true Kenyan, how are you? Happy Sunday. Yeah, 100%. It's the dating game, Uku. You have to be like fully transparent and to be true to yourself to realize what are the deal breakers. Let's not just drag men or drag women into our lives knowing so well that some of the things that they need or they require or they want, we cannot provide. If you know very well that whatever the man is asking or whatever the goals for the man, you can't be hapa na hapa with the guy. Hakuna haja. But if you already know that it's okay, you're okay for if you know that you're okay raising a child who is not yours and having a blended family and introducing your child to this other person and the children getting to know each other, if you're ready for that and that's okay for you, then that is okay. If that's something that is not okay with you, I don't feel, and this is my opinion, I don't feel like it's fair for you to go down that road. For you, if you have different opinions, you can leave them in the comment section. True Kenyan, unasemaje? Unasema, I raised a young man here who was not mine, and the mom and I separated 5 years in after she decided she don't want children, and I was not good enough. I was that, you're that simple. Thank God you woke up. Man, what? Hebu nisome hiyo tena. I raised a young man here who was not mine, and the mom and I separated 5 years in after she decided she don't want children, and I wasn't good enough. I was that simple, but thank God I woke. So true Kenyan. You met a woman who had a kid and you raised the kid together. You were with the mom for 5 years and then you separated and you wanted a kid of your own. And she said she didn't want the child. Is that the story? Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. And then she left, or she left you. That's terrible. I think that's why I was saying, oh, thank you, True. But that's what I was saying. That's why I was saying these conversations, I feel like we need to have these conversations ahead of time. Be honest with yourself and be honest with that person. Because nani ameniuliza hapa juu, James Mwaura, James Mwaura. My question is, hakuna watu wa kuwaoa here in America. Are there no men here to marry us? So it's not like there's no people to marry. It's just a lot of things surrounding what we are going through. And we have to weigh the options to see whether is it really worth it at the end of the day. Does it make sense for you as a single person who is trying to date? Does it make sense for you as a single man or woman who has children? Does it make sense for your children in the long run or in the present? Does it make sense? So a lot of factors to consider. Lack of government and community support, difficulties in accessing aid. Some single moms, they struggle to qualify for government assistance program. So let me tell you something. The way the systems are set up, you have to be like really poor to get this assistance because they follow some kind of system. The state follows some kind of system. So you have to be really poor. So for you to be really poor, you can't work that much. And a lot of people want to work. especially as Africans, we come here, we want to work. We want to work. We want to get our money's worth. We don't want just to sit around. We want to go and work. But then when they look at your paycheck, for example, so let's say, for example, me, I say I'm a nurse and I go to the office. I've never gone, but I'm just saying, if you go to those office of government aid or whatever, you go over there, they ask you for your paycheck. They want to see how much money you make. As soon as they see my paycheck, they'll be like, bye. So that means even if I wanted to get help from the government, I will never qualify. I'll never qualify. So let's say, for example, I had small kids and I needed help. So that would mean I would cut back my hours to almost 1 day a week to qualify for these financial services. And then they will want to know, how come you're a nurse and you're not working? So it's like a catch-22. It's like, what do you do? If you want to be home with your children, you want to go out there and work. If you ask for financial assistance, they want to know how come you're not working. And it's just a cycle. It's a cycle and it's a struggle. But a lot of people do that, but you end up not really working, not because you don't want to work, but because the requirements to get financial assistance require you to be at a certain, a certain income below the poverty level. And then limited maternity leave. The US has no national paid maternity leave policy. It makes time off after childbirth a financial burden. That can be really, really. Oh, by the way, lately, I think at work, I heard something about now, starting 2026, we'll start having paid leave. FMLA is going to be paid, family medical leave of absence is going to be paid. So we've already started putting into our, you know how your social security is automatically taken out for those of you who are in the US. Social security, Medicare, all those deductions, federal tax, state income tax, all of that stuff is already taken out of your paycheck before you get your money. So there's this new, I'm not sure what it's called, but there's this new thing now that they've started deducting our money from our paychecks for paid leave of absence. So starting 2026, when you take your leave, you're going to be paid for it. The way it works right now is you can take family leave, medical leave of absence, but you have to use your paid time off, your PTO. You have to use your PTO, you have to use your saved time so that you can be paid. Otherwise, the family, the FMLA is just to hold a place for you at the job so that when you come back from whatever leave you took, you will still have a job. Up to 2026, it's not paid, but starting 2026, it's a new system that is going to be paid. So hopefully that will help. Co-parenting and legal issues. Sometimes you have so many problems with the other person. So let's say the person is still alive, the person that you share the kid with. They can be a source of frustration for you because of disagreements. Maybe you guys didn't live on a good, on a good note. Mkuachana vizuri. So maybe they are jealous because you're dating somebody and now they're using the kid to frustrate you, especially when the kids are young. They want to show up at your doorstep at random times because they are, they're coming to see the child or stuff like that. Or they just want to disrupt your life just because they are no longer in your life and the life of the kids. So there are so many struggles surrounding that, and sometimes I've seen or I've heard cases where the police has been involved because people have or even like done what is that thing called when you have to you restrict somebody from coming near you. I know what it's called, but I can't think of it. But I've seen cases where it's become so bad because of baby mama and baby daddy issues and drama. True Kenyan, unasema, we were together a total of 7 years. I met her when the young man was 5. We agreed to get 2 kids. Never negotiate with broken people or they will break you. Facts. What? Wow. So here's the thing. Sometimes you meet people and I think we learn from our mistakes and we live and we learn. Sometimes you meet people and you're like, what? You feel like you can help them. But I think it's okay for us to allow people to heal and to take care of whatever issues that they need to take care of before we jump into the relationship with them, to find out what kind of person you're dating. Because if you assume this savior syndrome, that you want to save everybody, you end up being the one that is broken at the end, because that person is going to heal, and then as in their process of healing, they are breaking you at the same time. So them, they end up being healed, you end up being broken. So what was the point of that? So I think they should get professional help or whatever kind of help they need to get, instead of us feeling like, okay, once I get in this relationship, I'm going to change the person. You're not changing anybody. You're not changing anybody. Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. That sucks. What? So did you all get married, or how was that? What? Because if you got married, that's even worse. Because the process of divorcing is another issue. What? I didn't go through divorce, but I almost did. I never went through divorce, but I almost did, and I could feel the pressure and all the things that are involved in going through a divorce is like crazy. So true. I don't know if you guys were legally married or what. So I see that you already had conversations. So it's good that you had already had conversations about whether or not you wanted kids, and you decided you wanted 2 kids, and then she just changed her mind or something. Wow, 5 kids, 5 years. That's a lot. 5 years. That's a lot. What? Unreliable child support. Let's talk about child support. So, child support is enforced a lot here in the US. Here in the US, I don't know Kenya ikoaje squeezy. You guys can tell me, the guys in Kenya, how is child support enforced in Kenya? Because here they can even take your paycheck. They can take it straight from your paycheck at work, from HR, payroll. So, but so the thing is, watu wameshajua ukora. People have known now what to do. So the guys, if you know that you are owed child support, most of them say that they can't work or they can't find work. So if you can't get a job, if you don't have work, you can't pay child support, sindio, because you don't have any source of income. So now the other parent that is waiting for the child support, they cannot get anything. So the kids end up being the ones struggling and suffering, because if the single mom is not able to support the kid, if the single mom is not supposed to, so is not able to support the kid, and then the dad on the other hand is not paying child support, then it's it's a bad situation on both sides. So, on this live, we are talking about the struggles of single parents in America, challenges, survival, and success stories, and other stories, not just single parenthood and stuff like that. So, if you have something else that you want us to talk about, you can let us know. Leave your comments here. Leave your comments here on TikTok. August. What was TikTok? Aye, simply exquisite. Ooh, I like that. Aziza, John Irongo, I see you guys. Simply Exquisite, I see you. Kuna watu wengi TikTok. Urich, Vic, Black Boy, 007, John Irongo, Francis Jones. Thank you guys for watching. Evans or Ivans, thank you. Thank you guys for joining the live. Leave your comments here for me if you want to leave any comments for live free. Thank you for joining the live. Above all else, waste of time for real. That's a long time. 5 years is a long time to be with somebody and then you're not on the same page. And all these years, Kwani, she didn't know that she didn't want kids. I'm just curious. All this time, she didn't know at what point did she change her mind, and why did she not let you know that she has changed her mind? You know what I mean? I don't know. At what point did somebody change? If we met and during our initial conversations we are talking about, okay, what would you like? How many children would you like? Do you even want children? How are we going to raise these kids? What is the relationship with your ex and your baby daddy or your baby mama? You're talking about those things initially in the relationship. So if you agree that you want 2 children, in addition to the one that she had, and then she changes her mind somewhere down the line and they don't tell you until 5 years later. That is crazy. That is crazy. It's like somebody telling you that during the relationship in the beginning, somebody says, oh, right now, I know we feel the way we feel about each other right now, but if things change, if you start hating me, or if you don't feel the same about me, make sure you tell me. So somewhere down the line, you start feeling different. How do you tell somebody that, by the way? How do you now come around and say, you know what? Maybe aliogopa kukuambia. I don't know. Maybe she was scared of telling you. I'm not sure. So education, we're still talking about the challenges of single parenthood in America, education and career growth limitations, limited time for education, pursuing higher education while parenting and working. It is so challenging. It's extremely challenging because most of us, when we come to the US, our education, our jobs, the ones we used to do back home, are reduced to nothing. We are back to square one. So it's upon us to figure out, where should I go to get more education that is upper and upper with the jobs that are available for me here in the US. So if you're a single mom, hey, try going to school. Try going back to school as a single parent. It's already challenging when you have someone. And that's why most of the time, one parent goes back to school, supports the other person, then they finish, and then the next person supports the other person after graduation and after they've gotten the job. If you're single, it's harder, it's more difficult. It's more difficult to do that because you got to take care of the child, you got work to do, you have school assignments and whatnot. Career advancement struggles. Single mothers, we have to choose jobs based on flexibility rather than career growth. So, men, you can't climb up high in the ladder as fast as possible because you have to get the jobs that are flexible enough for you to be able to accommodate raising your children. And that's why a lot of people say, and I'm not tetearing them, I'm just saying a lot of women spend a lot of time pursuing their career before they have children because they feel like once they have a child, they won't be able to progress in their career growth or climb up in the ladder. And then life nayo ni gani, like life time waits for no man. So as time waits for no man, as you continue pursuing your career, time is moving. Before you know it, now you're in your 40s, you're like, guy, should I have had a child before and pursue my career while I'm raising my child? Then you start asking yourself questions. So it's a catch 22 again. It's a catch 22 again. You want to be stable financially and career wise before you start having kids, but then time doesn't wait for you. If you're already older, you're just now asking questions about, did I make the right decision? True Kenyan, you're married but divorced. I traveled for work a great deal. So before you know it, 5 years was up. If it's beyond repair, get out. Don't procrastinate, or uh, time and your peace of mind is the casualty. Aki, what? Yeah, if you're not there every day. Oh, that's why I was asking. How come all this time she didn't tell you that she has changed her mind? So you are not there. You are traveling for work, and five years passed so quickly. So if it's beyond repair, get out, don't procrastinate, because time and your peace of mind are the casualties. That's true. You end up wasting a lot of time, and then you start stressing. You start stressing. Oh, well, TikTok is saying that the live will end in about 45 seconds if you guys don't tap on the live. So if I disappear from TikTok, it's because I've been dropped, but I'm still live on YouTube. So if you guys want to join us on YouTube, you can come over here. We are talking about the struggles of single parents in America, the challenges, the survival, and the success stories. So True Kenyan unasema, some of us come from stable environments, so you offer supporting because it comes naturally, thinking that that is what they need. Kumbe, they are just broken. Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, the thing is, if somebody has issues, and I've come to learn the hard way, we have to give them time to go through that healing process. And sometimes we just want to be there for the person, and then we get involved in them deeply, deeper than we wanted to be. So maybe you're just extending your friendship, you're just extending your support, and then kidogo kidogo, sijui mshakuwa girlfriend and boyfriend, kidogo kidogo, you get married, and now you're thinking, maybe I can be help and support for this person for them to get better. But we don't realize that kumbe they are so broken and they need help themselves. They need to be healed first before they can embark on a new relationship. So, and I know true Kenyan, coming from a good place in your heart, you're like, okay, let me support this person. Man, yeah. Some things tunaweza saidia na kuna zingine you can't. And no matter how you try, you end up being the casualty. PK, welcome to the live. Those are sacrifices that we hope and pray God will bless us in the long run. True. We move regardless regardless of the challenges, or regardless of the sacrifices, regardless of the struggles. We move despite these challenges. We single moms, we are showing incredible resilience because we are still doing what we need to do for our children. We are still supporting our children, and when and if we find out that there are things that are problems with our kids, we want to be there. We want to stand up with our children and be supportive. So we are strong. That's what I can say. We have to keep being strong. Single parents, we have to look for support networks. If there's any available resources, we have to look for those resources. We have to seek opportunities for career and financial growth. We have to talk to our employers to find out what kind of flexible terms can we have until, because kids grow. Kids grow. They're not at a stagnated in a particular stage. Kids grow. So the challenges that you are facing when your kid was an infant here in the US is not the same. For example, the challenges that I was facing when my child was an infant here, it was that waking up early in the morning. You wake up early in the morning, you get the child ready because, excuse me, because I was going to school at that time. So you wake up so early in the morning, bright and early. You get the child ready. And at that time, I was, because the baby was like really small. So I was still, if you guys you pump the milk when the child was still breastfeeding. You have to pump the milk so that you can send it to either the nanny or to daycare so that the baby can have something to eat during the day when you're at school. And then after school, you're going to work. And then after work, you come home. And at that time, you still have, you still have your family duties that you have to do. So it's a vicious cycle, especially when and then the babies, they don't sleep at night. So here you are thinking about, okay, I'm gonna finish my homework. Kumbe, you have homework also. You have to finish your assignments and then maybe go to bed early. Go to bed early, Gani. The baby will not sleep. So you're up in the middle of the night, either breastfeeding or doing this and the other, being up with the child. And then tomorrow you repeat the same cycle. By the end of that program, by the LPN program, that's when I was doing my nursing program. I was like up to here. I didn't have any space for anything else. And at that time, I was married. So I can imagine if I was single and I didn't have any support, it could have been double that. It could have been double that pressure. Some people want to claim the benefits of marriage without putting in the work. The benefits of marriage could be financial stability, companionship, partnership, etc. To the what its appearances, I don't get the last part, but yeah, the benefits of marriage. People are married for different things. There was another live that I had here, and we were talking about what are the reasons why people get married. And people were like, you should not be ashamed if you just want a man because you want financial help, then say that in the beginning. And I think I think we had a conversation with John Duty on a live one day. And he was like, he doesn't feel betrayed if somebody came up front and said, I'm in this relationship because I need financial support. We can go half and half, 50-50 on these bills because, oh my God, these bills are crazy here in America. They're crazy. The bills, you can work for bills all day. You're working for bills every month. The money is just enough to pay your bills. But anyway, I digress. If you're just wanting the benefit of financial freedom or financial stability or some kind of financial help, and that's why you're getting into a relationship with someone, I think it's only fair that you let them know in advance, right? Companionship, it could be that now you need somebody to be with, to spend time with, because human beings, we are social animals. We want company. Or partnership, or maybe you want to engage in a business venture with the person. Maybe somebody has some business qualities that you admire and you'd like to start something together. And if that ends up being another kind of relationship, then that's well and good if you guys are up to that. So I think what I'm saying is being honest with ourselves and with each other as far as why are we entering this relationship. Guys from Ghana, thank you for tuning in on TikTok. I can't say your name. Lip Sing Saraba. Thank you for joining us from Ghana. You guys, where are you watching from? Can you just tell me where you're watching from so I can shout you out? Shout you out. Luke, the storyteller. Marriage is not a bed of roses. I feel like the biggest hurdle to jump in marriage is, if not money, friends, family, changes like getting children and other challenges. It has to be it has to be Satan. What? Yeah. Au umenichekesha. Marriage is not easy. Hey, na nimetoka church leo, by the way. Nimetoka church leo, so shetani ashindwe. Should not come between us and our marriages and our relationships. Look, the story, if the couples are not truly committed to God, I personally do not see how things will work, because there will be a lot of trials and temptations that test every patience to the core. That is true. We didn't say that marriage is easy. It's not, because I've been both on the marriage side and I've been on the single side. So for whatever number of years now, but I was married for like 14 years. So I know it's not easy. It's not easy to be married, and it's not easy to be single. So what should we do? What should we do? It is not easy to be married, and it's not easy to be single. Sa tufanyeje? But God said we should find someone. We should find someone and be married and raise families together. And we did that. I was married for a while. But then this other side of being single is the one I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. We should put God in the center of everything that we do. True Kenyan, to them it's appearances. Let's leave religion out of this for a moment. Ati shetani ashindwe. Yeah, we can be realistic, and we can also, whatever works for you. There's some people who are Christians, and we can do another whole live about that. People who are perceived to be in the religion and in the churches and stuff, but we're hearing so many things about what is going on behind closed doors in their families. So it doesn't make sense for you to be up there on the pulpit talking about how we should behave, but you behind closed doors, you're doing whatever the heck you want to do. So that's a different topic for another day. Today, today we are talking about struggles of single parents in America, the challenges that that we are facing, and we are both on TikTok and we are on YouTube. I'm reading your comments, so leave your comments on TikTok, leave your comments on YouTube, and I'll share them with the rest of the people who are watching. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being here. And then there are some people, have you guys ever heard of people who can never be single? They can't stay alone by themselves. I think, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called codependency or something like that. Somebody who, no matter what, so they keep jumping from one relationship to the other because they cannot live by themselves. They cannot be single. So I knew a person like that back in the day at my job. So she had this relationship, and just to go back to what True Kenyan is saying, for them it's just for appearances. She stayed in this relationship just because the husband kept posting it on Facebook, posting it the way they're having a good life and stuff. And so she continued to follow that trend, knowing that, of course, behind the scenes, she's telling us of all the things that are going wrong in the marriage. But on Facebook, when you look at it, because Facebook ndio ilikuwa imechachisha at that time, I don't think we didn't have TikTok and Instagram iko imechachisha. So at that time, everything was like on Facebook. So we would see all these pictures, and every day there's a post about how the husband loves the wife and this and that and the other, and then come to find out he's doing the most as far as mistreating her and all those things. So anyway, everything that is done in the dark will always come out in the light one day. It might take 1 year, it might take 2 days, it might take however long it might take, but it's eventually going to come out to light. And that finally came out to light, and they ended up, it was ugly, they ended up being divorced and stuff. But after that, Hashi was staying in the relationship because of the show, because of how people were perceiving the relationship and seeing it from the outside. But then there are some of us who she would confide in us and tell us, this marriage is bad. I can't wait to get out. So finally, when they divorced, she wasn't able to stay by herself. Within a few weeks, she's already jumping from one person to the other, to the other, to the other. And then every time she does that, she introduces the new man to the kids. And I'm like, she wasn't even sure that this is the person that she wanted to be with. So it's like every other month we're hearing there's a new person, there's a new person. So there's this thing of some of us not being able to be single because we are so used to being in a marriage. And I don't know to how people can escape that, because I don't feel like that's healthy, in my opinion. Margaret Ganga, only God can help in all stages of life. Yeah, we need to just be honest with ourselves. I think that's the message that I would say. Just be honest with ourselves and be honest with the people that we are engaging in life with, not just in relationships, as far as romantic relationships and stuff, even in life, generally in life, at work, or in any other phases of life. Be honest with yourself and do unto others what you would like them to do unto you. Carol, Doreen, Roses, Mukiwa pale TikTok, thank you guys for hanging in there with me. And thank you for liking the live. One cheese. I don't see any questions for you guys on TikTok. If you have any questions, you can ask. If you have any comments, you can leave them. I'm checking. Also on YouTube, I don't see any other comments or any questions. So if you guys don't have any other questions, we can end this live. We've been on here for 1 hour, 12 minutes. Unless there's something else you guys wanted to talk about, I would like to thank you for being here on this live. I wish you a good week. I don't know what you guys do, where you are. Najua kuna mmoja hapa amesema Habudini, Hadubini TV, you are in Nakuru. There's somebody from Ghana. There are people in the US here that I'm seeing on TikTok, and I don't know where everybody else is from, but wherever you are, whatever you're doing in your jobs, in your endeavors for next week, I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching and being with me on this live. Let me quickly address the people on TikTok who I posted a video yesterday, and I said that they were asking about hosting, especially for green card winners. And I posted a video saying that I don't host. And people came at my neck. People came at my neck, and they had a lot of things to say about that. That how come you don't host? Then why are you here on this platform if you can't host us? Then what point is it of having this platform? What are you here for? And you have such a big house. Why can't you host us with that big house of viewers? And I just want to humbly explain something about hosting, because I realize that a lot of people leave comments or they speak from a point of ignorance. And therefore, let me school you about hosting. Hosting in the US means that you are responsible for that person. When the person comes in and you accept the job, is actually a job of hosting somebody, you are saying that you will take care of this person, you will hold this person's hand until they are independent enough to take care of themselves. Do you know how much that takes? Do you know how much time that takes? Do you know how much resources that takes? It's like raising a baby, because these people are coming in with no, they're starting from scratch. You have to, the only thing that they have, which is an advantage for them, is that they have documentation, but you still have to set aside time to support them until they are able to be by themselves. That includes making sure that they've learned how to drive. If you're in a state where they're like driving in Delaware, you have to have a car, you have to know how to drive. Okay. So you're the one responsible for that, taking care of that, making sure that they've gone to their driving lessons, they've gone to their driving test, they've got their driver's license, they are driving safely. You've helped them find a job. You have to be there for them until they find their own apartment. So hosting is not just a thing that you can just say, okay, kujeni nyinyi wote, all these 600 people on TikTok and on my comment section who are saying, what is the point of you having a platform if you can't host? I have a platform to share information. I am not, without being rude, I am not required to host anybody. It is not a requirement. And to be honest, I don't appreciate the entitlement. And usually I don't come at people's necks on the comment section. I really don't. I'm very like soft and calm, cool, and collected. But it's just, like I said, people are talking from a point of ignorance, not knowing what it said, what it means to host somebody. True Kenyan, Ebuwa Ambie, maybe they think it's just me that I'm ranting about hosting. Hosting is it's not easy. It's not easy to host someone, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't host. I'm just saying myself at this point, there are many factors that can stop somebody from hosting. It could be, so you guys are just seeing people's houses and you're like, why can they host? When they got the house, they didn't get the house for hosting. They got their house for their own family and for their own personal needs. And you cannot look at somebody's house and decide that, okay, sasa hiyo nyumba ndio mi nitakuja kukaa. That person is supposed to host me because they have this house. So I don't think that's fair on the part of the fans and the people on the comment section on TikTok that have questions and about hosting. And I did refer you to people that actually have hosting services. What I said is I don't have hosting services at this time, maybe in the future. And there are people on YouTube, there are people here on TikTok. All you have to do is search hosting services for African immigrants or hosting services for green card winners. Just type that, and see what comes up. You might be required to pay a fee because, like I said, that is somebody's time, that is somebody's money, and most of the people work. Most people work. Um, most people have families. Most people have. Some people have special needs children in their house. Some people, unaona tu watu huko wanatembea. People have different things that are going on in their lives that cannot accommodate them hosting somebody. And then the fact that you don't even know this person, but then they're coming to your mailbox or they're coming to your inbox with all this entitlement, talking about how dare you say you can't host. So if everybody refuses to host us, who's going to host us? And that's why I directed you to the people who actually do that. That is their job. They do that. So all you have to do is search for these services and look them up. Anjeroge, hello Lucy. Where are you based? I am in Delaware. I'm in Delaware. Delaware is on the east coast of the US. Otieno, thank you for liking the live. Naina, Abdallah, Marcus, Aqua, Desi, Queen Lydia, Lucretia Brown. Thank you guys for joining the live here on TikTok. Kwombo, Dira, Cakes, mkona majina. Mkona majina. Yeah, so sio kukataa kuhost. I wanted to just collectively answer that question. I may have to do another video about that. It's not ati tunakataa, si ati tunakataa kuhost alafu watu wanasema oh nyinyi mnaringa. True Kenyan, that sense of entitlement will be the downfall in this environment. It is rather conceited too. Yeah, I feel like yes, we come up on these platforms and we give this free information, and some people feel like, okay, now because you've told us about all this information about coming to the US, you should go the extra mile and host us. So Anjeroge, you're asking me how I got here. I didn't come with a green card. I came through my job. I had a job in Kenya and I got a visa to come here. And then I ended up getting married. That's how I got my citizenship. So watu wa kuhost, unfortunately at this time, siezi host sahi. Siezi host sahi siwezi. David Limbrick, thank you guys for joining the live. Mko na maswali zingine ama mmechoka? Mmechoka mnaenda kulala. What time is it in Kenya? It should be saa nne, 8 p.m. I think it's 8 p.m. So if you guys don't have any other questions, True Kenyan, what do you mean you never got the notification? For what? For the live? Do you have your notification bell turned on? Because if you do, you should have been notified. So I've been trying to come on these lives like every week. Oh, for the live. Sijui mbona you didn't get a notification, because I prepped it. I prepped it like an hour before. Maybe check your settings again. I'm not sure. But I did prep it and turned it on for 2:00 today. So I hope the next time you'll be notified. You guys make sure you have your notification bells on so that when I come on live, you'll be notified. And if there's a topic that you would like us to talk about, especially dealing with life in the US, you can let me know. And if I need to do some research, then I'll do some research. If it's something that I've experienced, a lot of things I've experienced, especially about relationships, especially about parenthood, interracial. Mtu alisema nisiseme interracial because my husband was African American. So maybe I should say intercultural relationships. I know people who are married to white people and how their relationships are. So if you have like a different opinion or a different experience, then you can kuja tuongee juu ya life in the US. So I'm excited that you guys are here. I'm happy that you are engaging and participating in the conversations that I'm having in my channel. People on TikTok, my YouTube channel is Lucy Mwangi USA. Recently, I hosted one of the Kenyan ladies, which is something I wanted to say here, by the way. Trying to get people who are doing different things in the country right now, Africans, mostly Kenyans. If you're a Kenyan out there and you want us to talk about what you do or your experiences here in the US, you'd like to share something. Recently, I hosted Melody Lavinia. She's a special ed teacher. She just recently came from the US to from Kenya to the US as a teacher. There's a 3-part video. If you're out there and you want to know how to come to the US as a teacher, it's very detailed. Most of these videos, they don't get a lot of views because it's information. People don't want to sit down and listen, but they want to keep asking questions about how do I do this? How do I do this? We put together videos for you. We bring people who have actually gone through that process. And all you have to do is listen and take notes and then go and do the thing that she said for you to do, because it's a step-by-step process. So it's a 3-part video. I have started a series called Diaspora Series, where I'm finding some people who are here, who have gone through experiences, who came through here who came to the US through different methods, different visas. And that's what I'm talking about. We are also talking about life in the US, different experiences that people have gone through as a way of educating and sharing our experiences. So make sure you go over there and watch the video. If there's anybody who has a family member who is a teacher, for example, and they would like to try their luck to try and see if they can come to the US as a teacher, forward that video to them so that they can also learn. I know I have a sister who I need to forward that video to if she hasn't already watched it. So Melody Lavinia, make sure you watch that video. She's a Kenyan teacher here in the US. If you're in any other different profession and you would like us to talk about that, you can just email me and I'll email you back. My email is lucymwangiusa@gmail.com. Or if you guys want me to find a certain career or somebody who came here through a specific career, I can look for that and I can bring the person and we can just share our ideas. True Kenyan, glad I caught you today though. Always insightful. Have a great week. You too. Have a great week, True Kenyan. Wycliffe Irangi, I'm proud of this channel. Lucy, please do some research on tracking Wycliffe Kakamega in Kenya. All right. Luke the storyteller. I have never hosted because of what I witnessed. Someone's hubby was taken by the lady. What? Ala? Yani wanakuchukulia mpaka bwana. See, I haven't even thought about that, but that can happen too. I can host, but it will take a lot of thinking before I do this. That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's not something that, especially, for example, the people who are married, if you have somebody in your life, you have to agree with that person. You have to agree with that person and say, okay, I'm going to host. It's not a decision that you just take upon yourself and you're like, okay, I'm going to host. And then before you know it, your partner is seeing somebody in the house without prior conversations. So there's so many reasons that make people not want to host. Kwa sababu hata the people who get hosted wanafanyia watu madharau. You know what I mean? You host somebody and then like true storyteller is saying, you host somebody and then they pita with your husband. Ay, hiyo ni noma. So how do you get here? How do you recover from that now? How do you recover from that? What? Lakini some hosts are really good. Kuna mahost wengine they're really good. My My host was excellent. I don't have anything bad to say about my host. I really don't. So maybe in a different circumstance, in different settings, I could host someone, but like storyteller amesema, he can host, but it will take a lot of thinking before he does that. I get it. I get it. So you guys, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a good week, and I hope to see you guys here again on Sunday, God willing. Thank you so much. Whew. Wacha tumalizie na kucheka. How do you recover from that? You move on, but take him take him to the cleaners. What? Maze? What? Thank you. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. And I'll see you on Sunday. Make sure you turn your notification bells on so that when I come on live or when I post a video, you can watch it. Be the first one to watch. I appreciate you guys. Have a great week. Have a great week.